Hey guys, Brandon here at WSC. Today we'll be working on Trav's European mount on his deer. I'm going to go through step by step how I like to cape it out, and then from there cleaning up the bone, everything like that, getting rid of the jaw, cleaning around the ears, and then from there we'll go ahead and boil the head, continue with the process.
So as you can see here, volume ain't quite working, so we're gonna have to do a voiceover in between the horns here. I'm gonna cut our way down down the nose here to the snout, right to where the soft tissue is, where I'm pointing, and we're gonna cape out basically down that line and then start caping out both sides down to the jaw line, and then from the jaw line we'll work our way back up where the jaw goes behind the ears there.
So what you can see Brandon's already done is he's really tried to get as much hair off that horn base as possible. That makes it a lot easier when you're boiling out.
If you leave any hair afterwards, good luck getting it off, because it's going to dry on there and it's going to be the hardest thing to get off.
So one of the most important things you can do is try and get that hair out from behind the horn. And the way you know you got all the hair is there's almost a rind there. Like you can see where the hair is gone and where the hair attaches to the horn real close. And there's still some here that he has. He could even take a screwdriver and pry some of that away afterwards.
For now though, we're just going to focus on getting the majority of it. Then we can come back, before we go boiling, we can come back and get this hair off. Clean it right up.
What Brandon's doing here now, you can see that entire ear is just cartilage, so you can cut right off. And later, like he showed in my moose video, you'll be able to cut that whole ear canal away with a screwdriver. But for now, you're just gonna cut that cartilage away, and we'll deal with everything inside the skull and the whole entire ear canal later. I'm not done.
So that's about as far as I'm going to go there. You guys can kind of see right here, this is where the jaw is coming in. This is the mouth. And then the jaw is literally going to come up right in behind the horn here and on this side of the ear canal. So you'll be able to see later on here, but we're going to have to get all this out to get the jaw out.
So Brandon's doing the same thing on the other side. He's trying to pull that skin away and taking the ear with it. And again, we'll worry about the ear canal later. Trying to get as much flesh off the bone as he can, go as close to the bone as he can. Remembering that the end of that nose is real soft and you can cut that away. That's not a problem. I think the important thing here to remember too, Brandon, is that your knife won't cut through anything that you want to keep.
True.
When you're skinning a deer, you're not going to want to get rid of all that meat. You want to make sure that meat stays nice and on the animal. So you're worried about cutting stuff you're not supposed to. When you're cutting this, when you're caping this head out, you're not going to cut anything away that you don't already want to be there. So it's okay. If your knife can cut it, it can come off.
Very true. Yep. That's a good point. Okay guys, so basically we got around the ears, got everything here. I'm gonna work this soft nose cartilage tissue here. I'm gonna work it down right to the nose tip.
Right here, this is a Euro that's already been done, and that soft cartilage starts right here, and he's gonna skin along this hard bone to the end. And you can see on this moose Euro up here, it's very, very pronounced, where that soft cartilage stays way up high, and you can skin along this bone all the way to the end. So that's what Brandon's gonna do right now on Travis's deer. Okay. And again, keeping in mind, your knife isn't gonna cut anything that you aren't okay with already coming off this deer. You just have to be very careful at the edge, because those bones on the end can get a little soft. Your knife shouldn't cut them, but you don't want to go hacking around there real tough.
Okay guys, so on this step, we've basically got everything around on the top of the head cut and cleaned up, other than the eyes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver, decent sized one, put it right up in the mouth, and we'll push down. It's okay if you push anything like that and break the teeth or whatever, unless you're trying to keep them. But keeping pressure on here, and then you're going to have to run your knife along here, cutting all the tissue, all the muscles, everything, until this jaw busts off on its own.
So what Brandon's trying to show is this orbital bone right here on the side of the deer's head. There's muscle that connects from the back of this head through this bone and then down into the bottom, connecting that bottom jaw. So on this deer, what Brandon has to do is he has to find all that muscle connecting that orbit through that orbital bone and then down into the bottom of this jaw. Cut that, and that will allow this bottom jaw to come off.
Okay guys, so just to give you a little show of how that jaw works, I've cut to expose the jaw. It comes up, here's that orbital bone that Aaron was talking about, and then here's the jaw. I've cut out most of that muscle just so you can see where it comes up and in, and I'll move it here. So cutting out all this muscle, all the muscle here. I'm gonna repeat that on the other side, and then we should be able to just literally pry the jaw back and it'll come right off with a little bit of persuasion with a knife. Or just put it on the floor of your garage or shop, put your foot on the bottom jaw, torque her up, and if Aaron wants to show the sides there, you can kind of see the jaw is right in here. So next steps, we're gonna have to get the knife, cut those final tissues, and then the jaw should just literally pull right off.
I think, Brandon, what you're trying to show, or what we're trying to show here too, is you can see that jawbone and it's starting to come out from underneath that orbital bone here on the side of the cheek. So there it is there, and as Brandon pulls back, you can see it's starting to pull out, and we just need to trim a little more of this stuff here to make it come out clear. So you can see now, these bones came out, and they came out of that orbital bone. Now that orbital bone's clean, I can get my finger right up in there. So these are cleaned off. All Brandon has to do now is clean up these tendons in the back of the throat, and that whole bottom jaw should come off clean.
Guys, so we virtually got it freed up. Aaron will free off, get the bottom jaw right off here. Okay, that's freed off. Next step, we'll put the head down over. And we're gonna basically free up all this meat here. And we'll get right back to where the brain cavity and the spine meet. So as you can see on this other Euro mount that we have here, what Aaron's working on right now, he's cutting all the meat right in here. And then there's this other bone right here that's flopping around. That's sitting right over top of this bone right here. So what we're going to do is work on both sides, clean this up, and then cut all the tendons here, and then it should pop right off.
So what we've done is we've stuck a screwdriver in that hole and we've pried really gently. And then once you pry, you can see where the tendon meets. And just touching it with a knife will pry it out and cut it out real nice. You can see we just go real slow. Brandon's cutting on all the soft tissue as I pull back slowly. And then we can get that pulled away nice. And what we've tried to save is these bones right here. That's why you have to go gently.
Which are these ones right here?
There. You don't want to cut that. Yeah, go ahead.
Just pull out a little bit. There we go. And that's got the back, basically the start of the spine, right off.
What you can see here is, again, these bones right here, these fine bones, are these two here that we wanted to save. Right here. And then we'll just clean this up a little bit, take as much flesh off as we can.
Okay guys, I just want to reference here another thing. As we're caping out the head on the Euro mount, we're going to go ahead and start taking the eyes out. But since we got this jaw off earlier, we're able to get to the backside of the eyes. So as you can see here on this other Euro mount, here's the backside of the eye canal. Here's where the jaw came up, right into here. So being that that jaw is out, we can now access the backside of the eye canal. Sorry. So what we're going to do is put the blade in, cut around here, and you almost should be able to see it come out the bottom. Okay guys, so we're going to do this Euro mount in a two-stage step. We're going to do caping out as part one, and then we'll do the boiling part and finishing part as part two. So if you like what you see, keep following us, and you'll see the finished product.